we played against them. Very difficult team to play against. Just attack you from all angles, so quick, so fast, and frustratingly so young.
So the countdown to the game between Lao Toyota and Red against Ho Chi Minh City in the AFC Cup. Ho Chi Minh City have conceded 2 in each of their 2 games so far in this competition. Lao Toyota have conceded 3 in their last 3 games in the AFC Cup. So we're expecting goals here. And the Vietnamese, of course, will have main dominance of the ball as they stroke it around, as they always do, just like the national team, trying to make the full width, use of full width of the pitch. Just as you say, that one that's gone way long already into opponent's half. And it'll be a 3-man defense with those 2 flying wing backs as well in Somsavat and Saison. Saison, of course, in his 6th year, one of the most experienced players in the Laotian League, looking for the tall head of Jurkovic, who's backing into his opponent.
Interesting, we have a foreigner as captain. That's an interesting decision. Sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't. Obviously, if he has a great CV and he holds himself, players get behind him, but it can cause ripples, you know, bypassing a local player.
And at the moment, it looks as if the pitch is misbehaving more than anything else, isn't it? Bouncy all over the park. That's a lovely ball that's floated right over the top. Just a little too much zip on the pitch. That takes it around the captain Fison. Viet Phu looking for that out ball. I think that the Korean coach Hae Seong's really signaled to his team to not be afraid to play it direct and long.
Excuse me, I'll just take that. Nice physical start there.
Jakite throwing his elbows and himself all around. That's a silky touch from Kong Fong, who is certainly one of the most exciting footballers in all of Southeast Asia. That's gone against the upright. That's a header that's taken first time by Balde. No nonsense from him, but what a ball that was played inside by Kong Fong, wasn't it?
What a ball and what a save. I mean, fair play to the goalkeeper here. That's in the corner and he gets down, helped out by the post, but still. Really good save there so early on. Got down so low and so quick. Yeah, very good, very good. Great ball, great header, great save.
And almost a double save as well, because it came off the upright and he prevented it from falling neatly into the place of Balde. So a very promising start by the Guinea-Bissau international. Once floated deep inside, Balde yet again at the heart of it all. And it's cleared first time by Lao Toyota, under pressure already after only 2.5 minutes, Simon.
Well, we did say early on that set pieces might be a bit of an issue here. Balde is an imposing figure there, and when Dieke comes up from the back as well, you've got 2 big 6'2", 6'3" guys really making their presence known. A real threat from any dead ball put into an area.
Here he is again, trying to show that he's got the silky touches as well to go. That very big, imposing frame of his, Jurkovic. Now he's got such an important duty tonight, just to hold up as long as possible. But 3 taking him out of the ball straight away. Jakite happily playing it outside to Tung Kwok. Huang Tin, every side needs a player like Mo Huang Tin. He'll give you 6 out of 10 every week, week in, week out. He's that sort of player, isn't it?
Steady Eddie, I think they're called. Steady Eddies. Everybody needs a steady Eddie.
He's the kind where it's not going to get the fans off their feet in terms of the excitement, but the coaches all love him.
Yeah, the sort that when he's ill or he's injured, you miss him.
Yeah. Ball's gone out for a throw to Lao Toyota. Somsabat Sofapiksai, that left wing back, who scored 5 goals last year and also played at the Southeast Asian Games, of which the Laotians sprung a surprise or 2. Jurkovic dropping very deep in order to get involved, and because he is that deep, there's no one up front.
A little bit rushed at the minute from Lao, just wanting to get up the pitch too quickly. not prepared to just open out, switch the ball to the other side of the pitch, making it very, very easy for Ho Chi Minh to sit in and win the ball back comfortably. A little bit more composure, just slow things down, try and get a little bit of possession going.
It's a long searching ball, once again looking for Balde. And header which was helped on. Second ball wasn't won by Kong Fong. And tackle that was thrown in very, very deep and late by Suk Savan.
Just right down the outside of his ankle there. That'll be a sore one. He knows it. He patted him on the back to say sorry. Doesn't need to be told by the referee.
Tung Kwok, who is one of 4 changes today, taking the place of Le Van Son down that right-hand side. Kong Tan, who has been an ever-presence in the team in his second year in Ho Chi Minh City. Jakite.
You get the feeling it's going to be a bit of a shift for Djokovic today. He's vastly outnumbered and they're just comfortably playing passes around him. He's going to have to try and maybe conserve a bit of energy and just shut off some options, try and get them to play a way that his colleagues can kind of shut off and assist him close down. But if he just runs around on his own, he's going to find it very tough today, I get the feeling.
Our ball was struck straight at him and somehow it came off the Frenchman. It's been kept alive pretty solidly. A very ambitious effort in the end, but he did well enough to keep it alive. Vita Kongmangritat.
I'm going to need to be a little bit closer than that.
Vitak's very much one of the domestic stars of this Lao Toyota side. Top scorer for the Laotian team at the 2017 Southeast Asian Games, so he has a goal or 2 in him.
Big instructions being shouted out early on.
Well, once again, that's a long diagonal, which has been spotted as perhaps one of the Achilles heels of this Lao Toyota side. Their inability to defend those balls that are played at the wing backs who love moving forward. Vitak, that's a clever ball that's played inside to Manolom. Jerkovic, that ball came at him at 100 miles an hour, couldn't control it well enough.
Well, Ho Chi Minh seem to be quite happy just to keep the ball across the back. They know that Lao are going to sit in. They're going to have to try and open that area for them to play in, and just by playing it across the back, they just open that possibility of a ball going forward. Balde taking quite a heavy knock there. You can expect some physicality, I think, when you're that big. No one's going to go easy on you.
It's Naohiro Kawakami, Japanese, was brave enough to jump where no man wanted to jump. Here is Balde back getting involved in the action again. I think he came from an offside position.
Chỉ còn hơn 10 phút nữa thôi là trận đấu sẽ kết thúc rồi. Và trước khi chia tay anh em, chúng tôi xin trân trọng được giới thiệu một website đặt cược bóng đá vô cùng uy tín. Đó chính là FB88.TV. Hiện tại, FB88.TV đang có chương trình khuyến mãi lên tới 2 triệu đồng dành cho thành viên mới. Hoàn toàn hợp pháp và an toàn. Nạp rút cực nhanh, nhấn mạnh là không đâu bằng. Hãy nhanh tay truy cập FB88.TV để nhận ngay những ưu đãi tuyệt vời này.
Yeah. The Lao Toyota players are complaining it was a pass back to goalkeeper Tan Tang. That certainly was an accidental clearance into the safety of the arms of Tan Tang. Huang Tian just curling that ball into space. It's a mistake at the back and an opportunity for Kong Hien. Trying to go for goal because he looked up and didn't see anyone inside the penalty box. I don't think anyone expected that slip up at all from Saison. Lao Toyota right wing back. So 8.5 minutes played. It has been all Ho Chi Minh. They've asked the more pertinent questions, knocking on the door already, and in fact hitting the upright after a quite splendid save by this guy on the ball, Suktavi Sundala, after just 1.5 minutes. Kong Fong. Oh, silky smooth, absolutely brilliant. Balde taking the play a little bit too wide. And was a lot of frustration from Fison more than anything else, that Balde's pass wasn't good enough. Had to be better, especially the work that was put out by Kwang Phong leading up to that.
Well, this was one of the things that a lot of people...
Up in the air, and I think he's taken a very hefty challenge, both of them going down.
Yeah, he felt that one, that's for sure. Intent in that challenge.
Viet Phu, fresh from scoring over the weekend against Quang Nam, one of the 3 goals in that 3-1 victory for Ho Chi Minh. And he's up and about. So too, of course, Viet Phu, who was in his first season from Da Nang. Past the 10-minute mark. A very high line put out by Ho Chi Minh. There's here. Brazilian international. Jerkovic came from an offside position. Might have been handball anyway, but he certainly was offside.
Teketi running that line very high, feeling very confident that they can deal with anything in behind. You see him just stepping out there. I mean, it's a really good defence, very well organised. He knows where the player is, and as that ball's being taken, he just takes a little step forward, catches him.
It's a little lazy as well from Jerkovic, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, you'd like to see him just being a little wiser to that.
Jakite inside to Viet Phu, 28-year-old, once again looking for that long diagonal, searching for the captain. Another mistake and an opportunity this time. Balde is inside. Goalkeeper spilt it. How did he miss that? So that is one of the misses of the season in the AFC Cup, that's for sure. Amido Balde with a goal at his mercy, and now begging for mercy.
He's trying to work out what he's done there. Just couldn't control it.
Well, some things are just unexplainable, and that's one of them in life.
Little comedy of errors there. Good cross, asking a question, keeper gets a hand on it, misses the defender, and somehow manages to put it the wrong side of the post.
Well, even they couldn't believe it on the bench for Ho Chi Minh City. He's a sort of player who really plays on his confidence, and hopefully that doesn't play against his confidence. Such a confidence player that thrives on goals, as Simon was talking about earlier on. He's already got 3 in this competition.
Oh, when he's good, he's very good. No, that's a nice little bit of skill. I was looking for just a little clip to try and get that corner. No, when Balde's good, he's very good. I can testify to that. I've watched him play a lot of times in Indonesia, and I mean, he's a real handful to deal with, but he does have a little miss or just lack of focus about him that frustrates fans sometimes.
Antoine, a lot of times they've played the ball wide and long from there, and they profited from it on a couple of occasions already. Back to Antoine, ball played a little too far ahead of him. Viet Phu will take over. Here is Antoine. Neatly inside and snapping into the challenge very well then was Manolom. Working extremely hard to get the ball back. It's a very good play by Huang Tin. Fison, the captain, has been heavily involved in this game. Fita Kongmatilat, the latest to actually take him out. Right, it wasn't actually Fitak, it was Somsavan. Here is Fison using Antoine. Wen Kong Tuan.
Yeah, Lao really working hard to try and shut off those wide areas. You can see. Easier said than done, that's for sure.
that was actually the figure of the man who is supposed to move up as quickly as possible whenever Jurkovic has the ball. That's the Brazilian Laocio down this right-hand side. Hasn't been doing that though. Piafong, and then anywhere would do clearance. Nguyen Kong Tan, who scored 2 last year in the V-League, his first 2 goals ever as a professional. Piafong, happy to take any sort of contact and go down.
Yeah, that's the flip side of being that size. It certainly gives you an advantage when you're attacking, but the slightest touch and the referee sees you as a big grizzly bear who's just thrown someone across a pitch, you know. Yeah, frustrating for coaches.
His 15th club in the last 10 years. It's your term of a journeyman, Amido Balde. Jurkovic was going after that ball. It's another one of those. 15th club in his 8th country playing his football. He is chasing after this now. Fisson will turn 28 in 4 days. Pape Diakite. It's from the wonderfully named Tampa Bay Rowdies. That's where he was playing his football before he came over here. Both those players, of course, the African players, Diakite 1.94 meters, Balde 1.93 meters. If you're looking at Lao Toyota, there's a lot of strained necks and looking ups throughout the night, which might play on you. But so far, though, they've done well enough. Dealt with those high balls well enough. It helps as well, Simon, that those high balls are way outside of their goal areas as well. Just that one header that he had at goal, Balde.
Yeah, I think when you have a player like that in the middle, it's not about protecting him. If that ball's already in the air, then you have an issue. You've got to stop the cross. Stop the cross, you have half a chance. It kind of takes the effectiveness of being so tall out of the game. If you just wait for the cross to come in and deal with the guy standing on the penalty spot, it's a good chance he's probably going to score. Stop the cross, much easier. That's fairly cynical. I think he knows exactly what he's doing.
What it has done is that it has stopped the ball as well, which means it's a dead ball situation. And from here, they won't be able to stop the cross from coming in. It's how high a line they want to play now to ensure that it's not going to be deep inside the penalty box. Well, they're going to play it short anyway. That's a long searching ball yet again. Oh, what a beautiful, sublime touch that one was from Fisson, trying to look for the angle for the cross, but enough players ensuring that there's a cul-de-sac and cutting out that angle straight away for the cross. Wang Tin takes over yet again, and he was pressured. And you'd have to say that the Lao Toyota defense, despite giving away some easy possession, have pressured the opponents well enough to ensure that there are mistakes made by Ho Chi Minh in the opening 17 minutes of this game.
Yeah, other than the chance from Balde, not really too much penetration, not getting through that bank of 5 and 4. Obviously, they're having to use those 5 guys to be able to have the width, to be able to put pressure on the cross, to try and close down wide areas. But they're doing pretty well so far. You know, one chance, one clean-cut chance against a team of this ability with such size. It's a good start, good promising start.
Kawakami will take this. Scored in the game against Yangon. Laocio, who also scored a penalty against Yangon, which is his first goal since 2016, the Brazilian. That's really a wasted situation whenever they have possession of the ball. Those are precious golden moments that you need to keep it as long as possible, but throwing the jewelry away that easily must be real frustration for the coach, for Kuda. It's going to be a free kick to Ho Chi Minh City.
Yeah, Lao slightly off the pace here. I think Ho Chi Minh moving the ball very quickly. A little bit of frustration going in, just feet being left in, allowing a bit of contact.
Piafong, Patamavong. A lot of these Laotian players are full-fledged internationals. Another free kick put out wide to Fison. He's got the overlap.
5, that fullback still hasn't been able to get across to the ball. It's causing them issues, Lao Toyota.
Nothing fancy, I'm sure, from this corner. Just hang it up there. And the likes of Yusuf Bamba and Naohiro Kawakami will have a lot of trouble dealing with those two 1.94-meter African players in the box for Ho Chi Minh. This one is drilled in superbly. It's gone past everyone. The chance now for the shot to be taken place by Viet Phu. Couldn't pull the trigger, couldn't actually find the angle for it. They have to recycle and go all the way back to goalkeeper Tan Tang. He's been told to stay on this goal line by Kong Hien. Ngo Huang Tin appearing in his 15th AFC Cup game. Yet again. Another one drilled over the same defender and picked up by Fison. Tried to look for Balde, who was in the penalty box hunting and praying. Cleared finally by Manolom. Viet Phu. Pia Phong is equaling that header. It's not good news for Ho Chi Minh City there. Captain Tran Fison is still down injured. Kong Hien kept it live. Was lost in the end by Huan Tuan, and a chance now for treatment to be meted out to Fison if he is still down.
Already on a yellow card. We just saw him carded. He's got to calm himself down.
He's a player who has a little bit of a temper on him. A tempestuous figure of Fitakon Matilat. Laos here taken out of it by Viet Phu. That's the captain who is still down injured. Looks as if he's clutching his hamstring, and that's not very good news at all. Tran Fison, of whom they've all been using him as the outlet tonight, hasn't he? Simon, down that right-hand side, he's had the better of the fullbacks from Savant time and again.
Well, it does surprise me that Lao Toyota are allowing it to happen. They're looking to defend with 5, but every single time they're looking up and just hitting it, as we just see that miss from Balde, which even from that angle is quite incredible how he manages to put it that side of the post. You thought it would be easier just to hit it in a straight line. Yeah. Why did I do that? No, they have to stop these diags. These diags and getting in behind are really hurting them. They've got the extra man out there. They can go tight. You get the feeling that, you know, 1 or 2 more, and if this man can put a good delivery in the box with someone like Balde waiting there, that could be something that opens the door.
Well, they do have the figure of Nguyen Xuan Nam on the bench if they need to call upon him. Laos here now with an opportunity for Lao Toyota, though. And they really need to take advantage of these set-piece situations. Diakite has kept them onside. That's a very good header.
And can obviously handle the threat that he poses. Just starts that a little bit early just to give himself a yard in behind, and a very difficult header left of Djokovic to try and get on target or put past the goalkeeper. It's smart defending.
Kong Fong is cutting a very frustrated figure out there. After that's a very bright opening where he fashioned a chance in the opening 2 minutes of the game for Balde. Hasn't really been involved. They have picked him out as the danger man. Rightfully so, but they haven't gotten the ball to him enough times, Ho Chi Minh City. And because of that. You saw him earlier on, just berating this man on the ball, Viet Phu, or hitting it long when he had come very deep into midfield just to get involved with it. Which is good news for Lao Toyota. They have done the hard part, which is frustrate. And they've had their first header on target as well, Simon.
Yeah, it's a header on target, but you do very, very well to score there. I mean, he's being very tightly marked for Dikete, putting pressure on him to even put a head on it. He does very well to keep it on target, to be fair to him. But you have to give props to the organisation of the defence to deal with that.
Ngo Huang Tin, who is in his second year. It's a ball that's played in behind the defense, finally looking for Kong Fong. He's got a lot of things that are bright and brilliant about him. Pace certainly isn't one of them, but when he has the ball at feet, there are very few players in Southeast Asia who are as silky as Nguyen Quang Phong. We've only seen it in sporadic moments in this game. He hasn't had enough time to show off yet. Jakite, that's a nice swinging ball inside, looking for the head of Balde, but it's gone all the way across to Kong Hien. It's looking for the angle for the cross and settles for the corner.
Substitution quite early on.
Limping to his birthday party in 4 days from now. That's the unfortunate part. But, it gives the opportunity for Pham Van Tan. To see what he can do. That's a little variation on it. Van Tan's first touch of the ball, I'd say very well drilled in, but it's very alert from Jerkovic as well.
It's obviously something they've worked on the training ground there. That corner was delivered with laces on a diagonal to the back post. Great first touch and a hit. They've definitely been working on that at the training ground. It's interesting to see.
Well, this will be the in-swinger. Let's see if they commit the players towards the goalkeeper just to disturb him a little bit. You'd have to say very well one in the head by Saison. It's not over yet, danger. They found space well enough, but once again, you'd have to say very compact defending by Lao Toyota. They have shut down enough spaces. Hye Seong's men have been very, very frustrated in the offensive third. Trying to put himself about. Took 3 to take the ball off him. It's onside, flag stays down. What a delightful touch that one was. Kong Fong yet again. Kong Hien chased down by Laosio. You'd have to say well done to the Brazilian. He's supposed to be joining up with Jerkovic as much as possible, as soon as possible, but he comes back to do his defensive duties as well.
Yeah, working hard in the team. I think he's been told to do that as one of that midfield 4 who track runners. Leaving on Jerkovic there just to fight for things and work on scraps. And he's done okay so far. He's put a lot of effort in. Been marshalled fairly well by Kete, but still puts himself about, still gives his team a chance of just a little bit of respite, just a bit of time on the ball to just slow things down and walk up the pitch. Incredibly important in games like this.
Well, we've hardly seen any sort of passing cadence at all from Lao Toyota. And every time they have that opportunity, they're just hitting it long for either Laosio or Jerkovic. Brazilian tried to keep it alive, failed to do so. He was asking for a free kick.
Just keeping his body in the way, putting it in between the ball and the player, making it very difficult for him. Oh, bit of a bobble there, played it with his shin.
Here's the problem for Lao Toyota at the moment. 1, 2, 3 touches, and then that one is long yet again. It's a tactic, hasn't worked yet, but Jurkovic is trying to make the most out of it. They might have something here from Suksavan. Put all the ball all the way back to Somsavat. Just lifting it in the air, hoping that one of the foreigners would do something about it. Went to the Brazilian Laosio, who couldn't do anything about it against Viet Phu. Clearance wasn't a very good one. Laosio will pick it up and try to worm himself around that Vietnamese defense. A little too strong, too tight. Header by Manolom was a very clever one, finding Somsavat. Out to the strong, too tight. Header by Manolom was a very clever one, finding Somsavat. Out to the other wing back, Saison. Laosio.
Ho Chi Minh defense a little bit, but ultimately good hands from the keeper. Didn't want to spill anything there for a little tap in. Nice strong hands, being able to just pick the ball out of the air there and get it delivered quickly.
It's very good work by Yusuf Bamba, the Ivory Coast player on the Guinea-Bissau striker. Well, he has been in the wars. Balde.
Just gets a little nuts there. Nice strong hands from a stretching goalkeeper.
Như vậy là trận đấu của chúng ta đã bắt đầu rồi. Nếu như các bạn vẫn còn đang loay hoay không biết đặt cược trận bóng này tại đâu, thì chúng tôi xin trân trọng giới thiệu FB88.TV. Đây là trang nhà cái uy tín nhất hiện nay, đứng top tại diễn đàn cá cược số 1 châu Á Asian Bookie. Nhanh tay truy cập FB88.TV, cược và nhận thưởng lên tới 2 triệu đồng. Nạp rút tiền chỉ trong khoảng 5 đến 10 phút. Phải nói là siêu nhanh dành cho anh em. FB88.TV xin chào mừng các bạn. 2 triệu đồng. Nạp rút tiền chỉ trong khoảng 5 đến 10 phút. Phải nói là siêu nhanh dành cho anh em. FB88.TV xin chào mừng các bạn.
Viet Phu and Vu Antoine working it out to Kong Tan. Manolom felt it was a fair challenge, but the referee blew his whistle immediately. He heard contact.
I think the first contact's on the ball there. I don't see an issue with that.
Yeah, the referee saying don't do this again, but you're absolutely right, Simon. Perhaps the empty stadium made that sound, exacerbated the sound more than it should, and because of that, it's the shock of the sound that forced the whistle from the referee.
I didn't see anything wrong with that tackle. Jurkovic doing what he can to shut the space down on his own.
One's gone all the way back to Suktavi Sundala. Was the youngest ever goalkeeper to earn an international cap for Laos. That was way back in 2012 in the Suzuki Cup.
He kicked the ball a long way.
Laosio judged the bounce of the pitch pretty well. Manolom losing possession of the ball easily, and Kwong Fong really was too casual in terms of his passing. Just not switched on at the moment. Nguyen Kwong Fong, I guess being inactive in the game for far too long has perhaps contributed to that.
Well, Ho Chi Minh still struggling to find a way through. It's easy to link passes together when you're only up against one striker, but in the attacking half, they're not finding the penetration. They're not able to find Balde particularly easy. And just as I say that, there's a big long run in behind the defence that's caught defended. Can they clear it? And they got a little chance just to play a little 1-2 and try and release some pressure.
Easily beaten out to it by Kong Tan. Here's Manalong Phitphakdi, who scored a couple of goals in the Lao Premier League last year. Jakite. Oh, Jurkovic has actually been targeting Viet Phu more than Jakite, trying to bully him, and Jakite has actually tried to magnetize himself onto Jurkovic on personal battles that are going on there on the pitch. As Van Tan takes over, the substitute uses Tong Kong. We haven't seen much of him moving forward. It's broken very kindly, and that timing of the tackle was impeccable.
Yeah.
It had to be. And it has broken clear, and a chance for Lao Toyota to spring something here with Jurkovic on the ball. Jakite side by side with him. Jurkovic has gone down asking for the free kick. He gets a corner. That's mere consolation. And he's got a chance now to make something out of it, and a chance as well for Bamba, who threw in that magnificent challenge just by the height that Ho Chi Minh City have in the penalty box. Good delivery here. Lao Sio had once gone deep, too deep. Ambitious in the end. He struck it sweetly enough, Fitak, but it was always going over.
That one goes in the back of the net. That must be a vote for the Puskas Award. That would have been some finish if that had hit the back of the net.
Jurkovic defending from the front does pretty well. Balde asked to keep the ball, couldn't stick. In the end it does. Goes out to Tung Kok. Antoine. Space opening up for Kong Tan. Yet again, very good defending, you'd have to say. Unnecessary kick out though by Saison.
He is aggressive. We've seen him being quite aggressive. He's all right with contact. Second
Lao Toyota player booked. Saison joining Fitak in the referee's bad books. And it was for this kick out.
Could possibly be 2 yellows. It's a little unfortunate. I think that's a yellow both ways. Takes one on the ankle first. Interesting little battle heating up on that side of the pitch. He's been involved quite a few times.
You called it, Simon. It is 2 yellows for Saison and then Kong Tan. I guess the purity of that expression gave the referee all he needed to give the yellow card to the Vietnamese. Well, they usually like to build up from the back, play their football, but a lot of times they have been unable to do it in this game, using Kong Fong as the fulcrum of the side to stitch things together in the center of the pitch whenever they move forward.
Ho Chi Minh certainly the better technical team. Always looking to try and play forward, just bounce the ball around, trying to create opportunities, but they're going to have to move Lao around a little bit more than this. They're not able to get the penetration they're after.
But it isn't as metronomic as Ho Chi Minh City usually are, Simon, as it got to do with the pitch as well and the bounciness of the pitch.
Yeah, quite possibly, quite possibly. It's been a hotly contested game as well. You know, there's a little bit of frustration there, some tackles flying in. But you can definitely see the two game plans. You know, Lao have tipped their hat to Ho Chi Minh. They've said, yep, you're a good team, you can keep the ball, you can have the ball, no problem, but we're just not going to let you in. but they'd like to see them just carry a little bit more of a threat when they do have the ball. They give it away far too easily, and then they have to go back to defending again.
Kong Fong, look how deep he's had to come just to get involved in this game. He's cutting an isolated, frustrated figure up front.
Oh.
Van Tan invites Tung Kwok to run onto this. Good enough defending though by Yusof Bamba, who's arrived from San Pedro in the Ivory Coast League, where he helped them to a runners-up position last year. It's not a very good ball played back by Hwang Tin for Tung Kwok.
It's interesting, since they've lost their captain Tranvi Song to the injury, there's been no long diagonals over into that corner. They're not able to get that penetration in wide areas anymore. Maybe because that player's not as high, maybe he's not as confident as the captain was. But it's changed their possession a little bit.
Jurkovic, another header won and returned.
That's another yellow card. That's an elbow into the back of his throat, or back of his neck rather. He knows he's not going to win that.
He's cutting a very thin line at the moment,
Manolo. He really is. No intent to try and challenge for the ball at all. Yeah, he knows it. You see his facial expression.
Jakite, only one target to aim for. Balde, who claims that he was backed into by Piafong. Referee wasn't interested. Laurcio into space, but nothing else. Ball's given right back to him. Jurkovic has got to control it. He does first timeouts, but he's closed down straight away. So some very good defending by the defensive midfielders, Antoine especially. That's a pure case of helping the helper for Vietnam's Ho Chi Minh City. Well, Fukuda's game plan at the moment has been working for Lao Toyota.
I think given previous results, you'd take a draw at home. You know, had there been a stadium full of fans, there might be pressure to go for the win, but as there's not a stadium full of fans, you know, taking that point.
They've struggled to bring fans to local football matches. Laos, over the years, highest attended match last year in the Laotian League was 400. The lowest attended was 62. And having one of these matches where there is more space between the players, between the fans in the stadium than there are between the players on the pitch. Whole Laotian League, the teams not having their own home ground as well, all of them playing in this stadium. Laurcio couldn't run on to that. Piafong apologized straight away. The idea was to actually use the Brazilian, who has been pretty effective down this right hand side, swinging those crosses in. Saison is back on his feet again after contributing to that hefty challenge. Balde. Used his body well enough and then tried to toe poke it into space for Kong Fong. Jurkovic, in a position that he absolutely would have adored, was right at the back, and he had lost Jakite momentarily. Here's the aforementioned Kong Fong getting involved now belatedly, but stripped off it by Fitak too easily.
They're working very hard, very, very hard defensively. They're not giving any space at all. As soon as the ball's in, yeah, there's another late tackle. They're just that second too slow to react. They're getting by having lots of numbers, slowing or constricting the space, but one-on-one, they're just that slight bit slower than the Vietnamese players. That slight bit slower than the Vietnamese players. That's why we're seeing quite a few little fouls going on. Just want to hold it out till the half.
free kick taken too quickly. I think the ball was probably oscillating and wasn't happy with the fact that the ball wasn't its full 10 yards.
Tạm gác qua những giây phút căng thẳng trong trận đấu này, chúng tôi xin trân trọng giới thiệu đến các bạn FB88.TV. Đây là trang nhà cái đến từ châu Âu có kèo ăn cao nhất trên thị trường hiện nay, đang được đông đảo anh em hâm mộ bóng đá tại Việt Nam lựa chọn và tham gia đặt cược. FB88.TV đảm bảo uy tín tuyệt đối dành cho anh em. Nạp và rút tiền trực tiếp về thẻ ngân hàng chỉ trong khoảng 5 đến 10 phút. Nhanh tay đặt cược tại link FB88.TV.
Really good delivery. Very, very difficult to deal with. Above the heads of the defenders, but at the feet of the goalkeeper. Just a really difficult ball to either clear or for the goalkeeper to deal with. Just couldn't get on the end of it. Well, I think the Lao head coach will certainly be the happier of the two going into the half. You know, half a game plan done, another 45-minute game. Don't let them score. Go home happy.
And if you're Hye Seong, the coach of Ho Chi Minh City, how are you going to break down this defense then?
Well, it's difficult when five and four stay. They need to find space in between the two. As much as there is two lines, there is still that little bit of space if you can break through the lines. We saw in the first game earlier, goal scored by PSM was a really driven ball that just found a bit of space in between the lines. If they can find that space with someone like Balde, for example, and then play off him, they might just be able to unlock the door. But ultimately, it's just about scoring a goal. Anything, could be a set piece, anything that unlocks that defence changes the shape of the game. Now the opponents have to come forward, now Lao have to come out. Probably a few more goals after it, but it's that first one.
The first one might go to Lao if they play this one right. They've switched around with player on the outside, as Saison was very much isolated. All the action was happening down that same flank of Somsavan, so that cross-field pass wasn't really on, was ill-advised. It's going to be a free kick for sure. Referee hasn't. And then had another one with a goal at its mercy and was all pants about it and put it wide. And inexplicably, 0-0 at the break.
Every day is better with friends.
It's lights out and away we go. He's like a prize fighter out there with a heavyweight world championship belt within his grasp.
It's now or never. Oh my goodness! World SBK is back in 2020, and boy is it back in style!
Magnificent header, gorgeous start from Dortmund, absolutely fantastic! What a game this has been! Too much! Oh. You gotta feel good for the man tonight.
He's a phenomenal fighter and a phenomenal champion.
This is the XFL punt. This is about coaches thinking twice about punting or going for it on fourth down. In the XFL, if a punt goes into the end zone, the receiving team gets the ball on their 35. And forget about coffin corner kicks. Punts that travel out of bounds are placed at the 35-2 or where the ball left the field, whichever is better for the receiving team. Plus, the punting team can't cross the line of scrimmage until the ball is kicked. So the receiving team is less likely to call for a fair catch and more likely to return it. We're making the punt more about coaches going for it on fourth down. So get ready to get loud, because a crazy return or fourth down conversion could be coming up. This is for the love of football. This is the XFL.
Football never rests, and neither do we. So, let's go. Personally, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer swept this one under the carpet.
They weren't clinical enough up front.
Yeah, I'd be worried if I was a Tottenham fan.
We got some feedback here that I think is really relevant, Erling Haaland. Discuss. The English FA should merge the League Cup and the FA Cup.
Try to stop him. Try to stop Thierry Immobile. That's the problem you've got.
Giggle, count us down. Woody, you are gonna love this.
Yeah, Combat Carl's getting played with.
The whole gang's still together.
Let's go!
Yeah.
Look who jumped 40 school buses and landed back in my life.
Who needs a kid's room when you can have all of this? It's time for the next kid.
Toy Story 4 premieres March 14th, only on Fox Movies.
We moved to Greece in order to witness an international cross-country rally event, the Rally Greece Off-Road, which was held for its 7th consecutive year in the city of Kastoria, in the northwest part of the country. The 7th Rally Greece Off-Road is second on the tour of the East European Tout-Terrain series. In a previous episode, we travelled to Israel for the Desert Baja. This significant international cross-country rally was the first round of the 2019 East European Tout-Terrain Series season, and we couldn't miss the chance to follow the action in its second round.
The East European Tout-Terrain Series is one idea that started 3 years ago, with 4 organizers from Greece, from Romania, Bulgaria, and then we have added also Turkey, and this year also Israel. We hope next year Bulgaria.
Event arrived from Greece. This year's event was one of the biggest and longest automobile races conducted. During the 4 days of the race, drivers had to cover wind, and the high percentage of humidity really challenged the competitors. So much so that they were happy just to be able to finish the race. At the end of the long race, the crowd greeted the participants with warm applause as they passed. In the car category, Gal Sakam and Ophir Nimrod of Israel, with a sophisticated Mitsubishi L200, celebrated the title. Leaving in second place the Greeks Petros Choutis and Kostas Makris with their Mitsubishi Piero. The pair kept pushing for victory up until the very last special stage. In the SSV SXS category, the winners were Kafri Zahi and Shai Regev from Israel with their Can-Am Maverick X3, followed by the Italian son and father team Pietranera and Edoardo Fabrizio, also in the Can-Am Maverick X3. This year's organisers, with the assistance of the Kastoria region and the Kastoria municipality, offered participants a high level of organisation, with a reputation hard-won during all the previous editions of the rally. The Rally Greece Off-Road has already started preparations for the next season. The 8th Rally Greece Off-Road in 2020 will be even more challenging, and we will be there to witness all the action.
far will our nomadic species have wandered by the end of the next century? Who will we become in the far future?
Sporting art at its finest. Oh, it's just amazing.
So good, so tempered, so perfect.
This is turning into quite a performance, delighting the crowd, embracing the occasion. Oh, absolutely sensational.
That had a bit of everything in it.
And it just gets better and better.
AFC double strike.
Larkin Stadium in Johor, royalty in the house.
Asia's theatre of football.
What a goal!
Where the passionate fans inspire clubs.
Chỉ còn hơn 10 phút nữa thôi, trận đấu sẽ bước vào giờ nghỉ giải lao. Và trước khi tạm biệt anh em, chúng tôi xin trân trọng được giới thiệu một website đặt cược bóng đá phải nói là cực kỳ uy tín hiện nay. Đó chính là fb88.tv. Hiện tại đang có chương trình khuyến mãi lên tới 2 triệu đồng dành
Who will we become in the far future?
The question is not who you are,
Germany's biggest local rivalry.
but whose side are you on?
They don't like each other very much.
Choose your club.
This game is about pride, passion, commitment, and glory.
Wear the colours.
In one corner yellow, in the other royal blue.
Live the identity.
A derby like no other.
Borussia Dortmund versus FC Schalke 04, live on Fox Sports. There's a fine line between fast and fastest. Success and failure. Teammates and rivals. Between the greats and the greatest. The new season of Formula One, live on Fox Sports.
It's lights out and away we go. He's like a prize fighter out there with the heavyweight world championship belt within his grasp.
It's now or never. Oh my goodness! World FBK is back in 2020, and boy is it back in style!
Magnificent header, gorgeous start from Dortmund, absolutely fantastic! What a game this has been! Too much! Oh.
You gotta feel good for the man tonight.
He's a phenomenal fighter and a phenomenal champion.
And welcome back to the Vientiane National Stadium here in Laos, the home side Lao Toyota. And that final huddle before they take to the pitch for the second half, you'd have to say, job done. 45 minutes where they've kept out the likes of Diakite and Balde. Just about, as far as Balde is concerned, one header which was well saved by the goalkeeper, and another one he should have scored, and that open goal, but she missed. If he had turned that ball into the back of the net, Amido Balde, Simon, that would have changed the complex of the game.
Yeah, we see Lao Toyota in the first half have really set their stall out as a defensive unit. They're almost playing for a 0-0. They would much rather not concede than actually score a goal at the minute, and that's fine. That's a tactical, setup. That's what they're deciding to do. But one of those chances in the back of the net would change the whole complexion of the game and really throws their game plan out. So they've got to stay concentrated, they've got to stay focused, and if they can get through 0-0, that's a really good home result for them.
Well, these two sides have scored goals in their first two matches in Group F, of which Ho Chi Minh City have drawn one and won one. Their third match, all away matches. That means that's in the second phase of this Group F competition. Ho Chi Minh City is going to play every match at home, and that certainly would work to their advantage in a Vietnamese league where they have to be played behind closed doors for the time being because of the coronavirus situation. So off we go then for the second 45 minutes, and hopefully there will be a change to that scoreline that you're seeing at the bottom of your screen. Laosio, every time he got in touch with the ball down that right-hand side, alarm bells rang at the heart of the Ho Chi Minh City defense. Balde coming very back to win that header. Kong Phong, always sublime with his touches of the ball, and keeps it brilliantly and keeps it alive as well for Tung Quoc. Haven't seen much of him moving forward. Tung Quoc, Van Tan, the substitutes who came on, and hasn't really had the same sort of impact that the man he replaced put on in the first 20 minutes of the game, Phi Son. Van Tan all the way out to Kong Hien. Kong Tan on a retreat now. Oh, I tell you what, they were very fortunate that it came off the hand of Laosio. He's claiming he didn't move towards the ball.
Well, he did move his hand towards it, but he didn't try and take his hand away, did he? More of the same from Lao Toyota. Just sitting in, back five with a tightly constricted four. Just making sure they shut up the middle of that pitch, not allow any little combinations or any space in behind. And then that lone man of Djurkovic just on his own up top, chasing things down.
Diakite having to go all the way back to a goalkeeper, Tan Tang, who was the first choice custodian for Ho Chi Minh City last year, and he will have some competition from Thien Dung this year. Thien Dung, of course, was the star goalkeeper for Vietnam. They finished second in the Under-23 Championships just 2 years ago. That ball was way too ambitious from Diakite. Too much juice behind it.
Been impressed by Diakite so far. Hasn't really looked rushed, hasn't looked like he's had to sprint, but he's marshalled that back line very well, kept them very well organised. Nice and physical, not giving Djurkovic any sort of opportunity at all. Impressive figure at the back there.
Saison. It's well won by Suksaban in the air. Balde took that one down brilliantly against Kawakami. Skipped away, and that's a perfect pass as well for Kong Phong, who just couldn't get it around Pia Phong. Important challenge from the number 4.
Lovely feed there from Balde, just skipping past a couple of Toyota legs, just trying to stick their leg in and nick it off him. That's what you expect from someone who's played at the level he has.
Yvonne Antoine is going to be taking the corner now. Responsibilities have gone to his left peg, trying to swing it in towards the goalkeeper so that the likes of Balde and Diakite will be on rushing and attacking it instead of backpedaling. This one is swung in very close to the goalkeeper. Oh. Very close, and you'd have to say very well done as well by Bamba, who came back and put some sort of resistance against Balde, who had a goal at his mercy yet again, but this time Bamba came all the way back and stuck with him.
Just enough to put him off there. You could see that Diakite was looking up at Balde as that corner was being taken. He was just giving him the eyes. He was blocking off his man, so as Balde runs past, Diakite steps across and blocks his man. But they do very well just to get up there and challenge. It's just enough to put him off. Not a clean header. Still, though, goes down as a chance.
Not a penalty for you, Simon. A tug of the jersey from Bamba.
No, I don't think so. You don't get penalties given against big men like that. It's just, you know, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, life is unfair as it is already, right?
It is. When you're that big, you've got enough advantages. You don't need penalties as well.
Huang Tin was taken over as a captain for the side, with Fison out injured. Just trotting around right across the square down that central midfield zone, trying to eat up as much space as possible. But that one they put long, right onto the head of Pia Fong. Easily prevents the ball from getting through to his goalkeeper. Kong Fong was on rushing from the back. Huang Tin available, but Kong Tan's taking some time to take that throw. It's a very messy display so far from Ho Chi Minh. The opening exchanges of this second half, which suits Lao Toyota. Happy to let their opponents just heave the ball up in the air and find no direction and purpose from their attacks. But this one has got a little bit more zip behind it until that final pass by Antoine. She apologizes for. Djokovic a little too overeager in trying to get to the ball.
It's not the strongest of touches. But the Ho Chi Minh man knows he's there. Just waits for the contact. Opportunity to put another dead ball into an area with two big guys ready to attack it.
They certainly have the perfect exponent to actually put this in. Kong Fong, deadly with his deliveries.
Two of them here just trying to block each other's man.
Oh, he's gone very deep with this one, way too deep, and goalkeeper almost spilt it then. Suktavi gathered it, second time of asking Suktavi Sundala. Manolom is managing to divert the ball to Pia Fong into space for Laosio. Had actually made the run forward, then Saison, and then Laosio delayed the pass. Saison had vacated his position already by the time the pass was delivered. Kong Fong, the idea was right, the delivery wasn't.
Little indication there from the goalkeeper. Quite happy to let that roll out and have a slow, drawn-out goal kick rather than just keep possession of the ball, dish it out to a defender and keep the game rolling. Just slowing the game down. Another 3 or 4 minutes just wasted. Clear indication of the intention, really, of Lao Toyota in this game.
It's Djokovic's ploy, isn't it? Stay as far away from Diakite as possible. The ball's going to get to him. The Frenchman doesn't win it in the air against Tung Kwok. Balde's jersey was certainly tugged by Bamba. Yes, Pape Diakite. Huang Tin. Viet Phu, clever ball. Need to find more opportunities to play it down the channels, which a lot of those have been closed for the majority of this game. That was opened only momentarily. It works that 1-2 pretty well. It's that handball. I think the assistant referee spotted that.
Yeah, another opportunity for a dead ball delivery.
Tung Kwok. Anton. It's cleared anywhere would do, but everyone in white in this half, everyone in red in their own. Balde winning that one easily. Bamba has lost a height and the flight of the ball. And they escape.
Scrappy all round at the minute. No one really putting their foot on it and grabbing the game by the scruff of the neck, driving their own team forward. It's just a little bit of miscontrol and possession being changed backwards and forwards.
Kong Fong, that's a lovely curl behind that corner. Kawakami, I thought last came off him, but it wasn't. It was Viet Phu who last touched the ball, so it's going to be a goal kick for Lao Toyota. Great shape behind this cross, Simon.
Yeah, lovely delivery. Just gives players the opportunity to attack it and just takes it tantalizingly away from the goalkeeper. Outswinger always designed for a keeper to just come out and try and take it and then realizes it's too far. Yeah, nice delivery.
Oh, there's a little problem with the transmissions from the Vientiane National Stadium. As goalkeeper's kick was a little too long. It's Ho Chi Minh City side who are finding a way through in this game and trying to find any sort of headway. Balde loses control of it, but they still have possession of the ball with Antoine. Couldn't keep it though, easily cleared by Saison.
Surprised that's not a foul. Gete happy to let the ball bounce, which is an interesting decision. And then just cleans Djokovic off it.
Wang Tin just slightly behind Anton, and it's gone to Kong Tan. These Ho Chi Minh players, at least the club in itself, is playing in the AFC Cup for the very first time, as opposed to Lao Toyota, third year in the tournament proper for them. It's been a long climb. In fact, when Simon was managing in Vietnam, this team from Ho Chi Minh City were actually playing in Division 2 then. But they've spent the last 4 years in Division 1. They finished second last year, which was a tremendous achievement. And it'll be something as well if they manage to go all the way this time in this competition. Tough ask. They're not finding any joy against this Laotian side after 57 minutes.
No, they're tough, they're organised, and you know, they're quite happy to mix it in terms of the physicality. They're not intimidated by the two big boys from Ho Chi Minh at all. So long as they stay focused. Ho Chi Minh really struggling to find space to try and penetrate this bank of 4, closely followed by a bank of 5. Not giving them any space, hassling them all over the pitch. Especially Balde. He gets special treatment. 2 or 3 come across when the ball goes into his feet.
Kong Fong finally finding some room. Gets the ball back from Huang Tin. When Kong Fong. That's a lovely ball clipped into space for Balde. Superbly done. And that was an opportunity. Their best so far in this second half, but spurned by Van Tan.
Probably the best move of the game, that. Really lovely little ball in. Great awareness from Balde, knowing that if he puts his head in it, it's just too much. And just couldn't get his leg over the ball. He's always leaning back. And a nice little move, that. That's what they've got to do. Might take something special, but they've certainly got it in them. They've shown that.
And that was really the first passage of play where you saw Ho Chi Minh City actually retain the ball and keep it a lot longer. And playing that long diagonal, that long ball looking for Balde as the only outlet. Finally, Jerkovic is giving a referee some sarcastic applause for giving him this decision. Pia Fong, it's his turn to deliver a long diagonal, and it was a very accurate one as well, finding Som Savat. That's disappointing. When you are so starved of the ball, whenever you have it, you need to keep it preciously.
Yeah, they did so well. And then just to pass the ball off the back of the pitch is, from one of your foreign players, very frustrating. But as long as it stays 0-0, Laos still have a chance. That'll always be in the mind of Ho Chi Minh as well. They'll always know 0-0, one slip, one accident, one good set piece, one mistimed tackle. Very fine line to walk along.
Ngotong Kok. His throw was taken over by Van Tan. And the ball's... initially, it looked as if Lao Toyota had won the throw, but it's gone against them. A longer throw this time at Bamba. Abandoned marking duties on Balde to ensure that ball didn't get any further. He's done well in the air. That's 3 in a row already. He's won against Balde. Substitution imminent. And, Ho Chi Minh have already made one. Are they going to make another? Is it Balde? I think it's Balde who will be coming off.
That was the chance. Really well made chance. And then there was this one, which came to him very quickly. Just couldn't adjust his feet to get the right connection on it. He'll still be scratching his head now, sat on the bench.
When Sean Nam, who over the weekend was the only player in the V-League to score more than a goal, a brace against Quang Nam, and he's come on to take the place of Balde.
Well, a different dynamic now. It'll be interesting to see how this one plays out. A big man who is obviously attracting players to him and using his strength to probably a player more suited to playing on the floor.
Sean Nam is as direct as you'd get and very quick. So they're replacing height with pace. Might be a change in the playing style as well for Ho Chi Minh. In the final 29 minutes of this game, played more along the ground than just a hit and hope policy, which hasn't worked for the first hour.
Now they need to have a little think about it, because what they've done so far has not been enough. They've not put enough pressure on the 3 centre-backs. I mean, they're playing with 3, okay, fair enough, but they've not caused any issues, really. It's been fairly comfortable for the 3 of them, even dealing with Balde, so maybe having someone a little bit quicker, a little bit sharper on the ground is going to cause a different problem.
Takite is signalling to the bench. Viet Phu chased down by Jerkovic, who is trying to lead by example. He is the captain after all. Antoine. That's a long diagonal switch which they use quite regularly in the first half, but not so much in the second half. Almost finding the foot of Kong Hien, who had burst forward. Kong Phong having to go all the way back to Kong Hien. They don't have Balde there anymore. Kawakami, the free header clear. It's a very clever ball played outside, and here's the opportunity for the breakaway. Couldn't really take advantage of it. Body strewn, flying all over the place. Manalom winning one in the air in midfield. There's a chance to put ball on the ground now for Huang Tin. Antoine asking Viet Phu to help with the clearance, and that's not a very good one. It's very good pressure, this from Lao Toyota. Good passage of play for the home side until that's happened from Saison.
Yeah, do very well to... It's incredibly frustrating for a coach. Getting your players motivated, chasing guys down, forcing the error, winning the ball back. Okay, now let's go up the pitch, and you pass the ball straight off the pitch. It's so frustrating.
He's trying to make up for it by winning those second balls. Gone out of play already before he effected the clearance. Ho Chi Minh still not finding the password yet to have that little breakthrough in this watertight defense, this safe. No one's got the skeleton key. Kong Phong certainly has the creative abilities, but we haven't seen much of him. And here he is on the ball, right on cue. Trying to slalom his way past a couple of challenges, too many challenges perhaps.
Well, we said before the game that teams coming from different types of background. Obviously, there's a stronger team here, and there's a team that play in a lesser league. With greatest respect to the Lao setup, it's about finding what you can do and what you're strong at, and how you can cause difficulties for the opponent. And so far, Lao Toyota have done very well. Yes, it's a 5 and a 4. It's not particularly pretty. It's not going to win any awards for great play, but it's been very effective against a team we know to be high scorers and difficult. So, fair play to Lao Toyota. They're working incredibly hard to keep this 0-0, and so far are very deserving of a clean sheet. I just hope they can focus and see it through to the end.
It's been 17 matches since they've kept a clean sheet, Lao Toyota, and the AFC Cup. So this will be some sort of a milestone if they manage to do it against the runners-up of the V League.
That's really good refereeing for me. I know you don't often get to hear that, but the fact that he's telling the goalkeeper there was no contact there, there is nothing wrong with you, play on. Very refreshing to hear that. And as you can see, there's nothing wrong with the goalkeeper, yet he's holding his head. So, good refereeing there.
For Ho Chi Minh, it's also going to be big news if they manage to keep out the Lao Toyota strike force. The last time they kept a clean sheet was the 12th of July last year. 17 games ago for Ho Chi Minh City. That was against Binh Duong in the V League. Jakite. Then of Soksavan, Sansavan and Laosio.
That's the lightest of touches. I mean, if I don't know how he can be holding his face there when the contact came from behind. I mean, that's slightly embarrassing from a captain. Wouldn't expect to see that.
Laosio, it's very clever. Just found the angle for the pass, but Manolom's gotten himself into a tight situation in the end, and the cul-de-sac ensured that it's going to be a throw taken a little further away by Saison. Saison, they're waiting for a cross to be delivered. Manolo finally with a real up and under. It's a decisive goalkeeping by Tan Tang, not very far though in terms of the punch. Diakite helps with the clearance. Good header, one back inside, and a chance to actually keep it alive with a pass outside because there was a player free and available, but Manolom decided to take that to wild lash at goal. Jakite, Huang Tin. He's trying to be the real pivot in this team, which everything comes from. Well, he's another one who's been on a yellow card, Vitak.
Yeah, we've seen him give a few away. Left his foot in once or twice.
Kwong Fong not going to give up the chase.
Very well there. And then gets himself a free kick. Yeah, did very well.
There's Vitaku, who spent the second part of last year playing in Division 2 in Thailand against Kwong Fong. is, of course, one of Vietnam's footballing superstars. Free kick was clever enough and almost found that right ball to Laosio. Kong Phien, not the best of touches, got the ball behind him and it should be in his stride. Quang Tin onside. Van Tan working the 1-2 well enough with Tung Kwok. Van Tan, Xuan Nam, Quang Tin. Oh, that's another very good ball from the captain. He's capable of a lot better than that. So probably caught in two minds then, wanted to swing the ball out wide and in the end played the wrong pass. Laosio on the breakaway now for Lao Toyota. Only one inside the penalty box. Djokovic joined by Suk Savan. And Brazilians done well enough to win the corner, despite being in an almost tight situation, in a no-win situation then.
Slack play from Ho Chi Minh. Really good build-up. Okay, it's, you know, they play a very short, I don't want to say tiki-taka because that's far too much used, but a short passing game. And then the captain really just giving the ball away and allowing a counter-attack that's ended up in a dangerous set piece here.
Norihiro is right up there. Goalkeeper is there too. Got into a mix with a fellow defender. It's kept alive and then cleared it again easily. Quang Phong, the only one up front, might chase after this. Oh. Almost pilfering it from Manolo.
Had no idea he was there, did he, as he turned? No idea.
Hit himself well enough. Well, he did score a goal against Laos in the 2018 Suzuki Cup when Quang Phong. He's hoping to do likewise against the Laotian team. The Southeast Asian zones, of course, in the AFC CUP. Very tight matches, only one from each group guaranteed of a place in the next round. Quang Tin, surrounded by a sea of red, had to turn away and turn back for help. Jakite. They're trying to build it up patiently and slowly until that long ball was put up by Kong Tan. Finding Quang Phong, breaking clear. Xuan Nam, Quang Phong beside him. Xuan Nam decides to take it on by himself and rifles it into the back of the net. Super sub Nguyen Xuan Nam continues his hot scoring streak with another goal, and this one was pummeled into the back of the net.
Really good finish. Had to be as well. The opportunity came. There hasn't been many clear-cut chances. So when that opportunity came, he knew he had to punish them. And just that little slip has cost. But what a finish. Goalkeeper, no chance. Arguments for a free kick there, possibly contact, as he's on. It's a tough one, but no argument with the finishing.
Well, there was a point where you're almost begging for him to release the ball to a hot-scoring Quang Phong. But if you scored 2 over the weekend, why not go for goal yourself? He's now scored 3 in 1.5 games. Xuan Nam. Become breakthrough for Hae Seong. And he'll say he knew what he was doing all along when he took out his star striker and top scorer.
Yeah, of course he will. Anything out of the game, they've got to commit more players forward. So this could lead to possible equaliser. It could lead to 2 or 3 the other way. Just over 16 minutes left. We'll see how Lao Toyota respond to conceding a goal. Can they just rally? Can they pull something out? They've got to get closer to Djokovic if they're going to give him any opportunity of linking up. But one thing this Ho Chi Minh team have been able to show they can do is keep the ball. And now they don't have to score, they can just keep the ball for fun. So really, emphasis is on Lao to try and change the game, to try and find something, because Ho Chi Minh can just keep the ball from now until the end. And there's the 3 points comfortably going back to Ho Chi Minh.
Well, the problem for Lao Toyota is that they do not have enough depth on the bench or a player to call upon from the bench to affect the game. best players are out there on the pitch, so maybe a change in formation, if anything. But nothing from the bench. That will be an ally up front for Djokovic. If anything, this man throwing in now. Laosio to move further up front to join Djokovic. Might be the only option for them.
Yeah, they've kept 5 back at most points during the game to deal with the threat in wide areas. Maybe drop into a back 4, maybe even going for broke and drop into a back 3 and just trying to pin them in a little bit more, try and get higher up the pitch. Got to try something.
As the hero for the moment. Exactly what the doctor ordered. Something sprung from the bench just to spring his team to life. Easily marshaled out by Tung Kwok for a throw to Ho Chi Minh. Djokovic wants them to take it as quickly as possible. I believe that Sasson, number 7, has succumbed to injury himself down the right-hand side, and he has been replaced. We'll confirm that for you in a while. Pierre Phong certainly still on the pitch, so it means that they're still playing with a 3 at the back. Kawakami can play up front as well. During his spell in Singapore, that he was used once in a while whenever his teams were behind, move forward and join in the attack. So that's another option. So that is the substitution. Bun Fitak coming on for Sasson. Bamba. So clearance easily picked up by Van Tan, who's protected the ball well enough all the way back to Viet Phu. Bamba's flying all over the pitch.
Very athletic. I don't speak Vietnamese, but I'm pretty sure he's saying, slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down. No need, just keep bouncing the ball around. Emphasis now is on Lao to go and win the ball off them.
There's a chance opening up right now. Xuan Nam, who believes he can do anything from anywhere, and tried that. Oh, tell you what, he is very close from taking the ball out off the penalty box. Well, can't fault the industry of Djokovic. He has worked pretty hard and he's been tireless up front, but just hasn't been able to release himself from those shackles of the Ho Chi Minh City defense. Laosio's come down this left-hand side just to help things out a little bit, but still unable to infiltrate. Norihiro, the anti-hero of the subplot at the moment, after that slip-up, which allowed Xuan Nam to take that shot to make it 1-0, the only goal of the game. Relief more than anything else from the Ho Chi Minh City bench.
Even Balde clapping as the camera panned across there.
Which is good to see. We've seen a couple of clubs
already. Trước khi đến với những diễn biến gay cấn của hiệp thi đấu thứ hai, nếu như các bạn vẫn còn đang loay hoay không biết đặt cược cho hai đội bóng tại đâu, thì hãy tin chúng tôi và truy cập ngay nhà cái fb88.tv. Đây là trang nhà cái uy tín nhất hiện nay, đứng top tại diễn đàn cá cược số 1 châu Á Asian Bookie. Hãy yên tâm chơi thỏa thích tại fb88.tv. Truy cập fb88.tv, cược ngay chiến thắng, rút tiền nhanh chóng.
Outlet on the left-hand side is Kong Hien. Kong Phong once again just buzzing around at the moment, and he is purring, especially after the goal is scored. He has been given a lot more room. That was the out ball, wasn't it, in the first 20 minutes of the game when Fisson, the captain, was playing. It's going to be a free kick if the ball is stopped. Well, it's not called, it's not flagged either by the assistant referee. Vitaka finally able to steal the ball away and then win the free kick at the same time. Remonstrations against the assistant referee, of which the referee is coming over.
Reminiscent of John Terry there, tackling with his head. The lightest of touches there, actually on the ball. Obviously holds his knee.
Close, you're certainly not happy at all. I thought that he was fouled.
The fact that his screams echo throughout the stadium. That's not a great ball.
Kong Fong, how good was he in taking that ball right in his stride, off his chest? Absolutely brilliant, but then the tackle was just as good, wasn't it, from the substitute, Bun Fitak. Instead, Kong Fong, one of the best in Southeast Asia, straight on and won the battle. Laosio, too high for him.
Oh, he needs to calm down. All that's going to do is just rile his teammates up. And right now there's 3 or 4 of them just on a little bit of a fine line. One little tackle might just get them sent off, and they don't need that for the next game.
Ball that's played in behind the defense. Pia Fong had to make sure that he won the ball. Otherwise, it was a breakaway for Xuan Nam, who has acclimatized pretty well since he's come on. The number 11 for Balde. Just when you thought that you've gotten rid of one, another one comes on as the main buzzkill and actually gets the goal. There's plenty frustration. Bamba's clearance only half cleared. Kong Fong still there. It's going to be a corner.
It's quite amazing how often that happens, you know. A player of Balde's quality who's obviously played at a good level, the defence are used to dealing with him, and then all of a sudden there's something different comes on, and straight away he gets an opportunity and finishes it. Incredible how often that happens.
Kong Fong decides to take it short. Angle's open for the cross. It's a little too deep. Djokovic not the most convincing of clearances, so it's still kept alive for Ho Chi Minh City. That's a delightful little cross. Goalkeeper did well enough with the catch. Had to palm it away. Suktavi got there.
Really good delivery there. Making that goalkeeper come and take it. And a little bit of head tennis, just gets the ball away. Teasing the goalkeeper off his line.
Here is Kong Fong. Still Nguyen Kong Fong was almost invited to take a shot at goal. Somehow managing to skip away from a couple of challenges. Shot finally comes in, and it was an embarrassing effort in the end by Kwok. Tung Kwok. Manalom. Bun Fitak. He's brave enough to keep the ball, the substitute. Brave enough to accept any sort of contact and go down to win the free kick.
Well, it's a little bit disappointing from Lao Toyota. They've not tried to do anything. They've still got the 5 across the back. They're not really venturing forward too much.
Diakite a little late in the challenge, coming in against Soksavan.
Just taking his size 14 out of Suksavan's chest there. Whoop. Little mismatch there, I think.
Suksavan. Well, he is a warrior in a lot of sense of the word, Suksavan, who was playing for the Lao Army last year. You got to be a warrior in order to be in the service, and he's come straight back up. Now there's no Balde inside there now, so they've taken one big man out, and you've got the likes of Kawakami, Jurkovic, and Bamba in the box. Delivery, though, didn't give any one of the three any sort of a chance at all to do something in the air.
Oh, skill of the game so far. Wow.
He has that in his locker, Vitak. We saw that. At the 2017 SEA Games, especially when he was outstanding.
They just had to let the Ho Chi Minh player back in the stadium. He was that far gone. Wow.
And here he is again, Vitak.
And that one going under his foot. It's crazy, isn't it? Crazy. Bit of outrageous skill, and then doesn't control that one.
Well, he'll tell you he intended that to be a dummy for his teammate behind. He knew his teammate was behind all along, and he's won a free kick. The teammate, that is Manalom. Well, they need to take advantage of this. They've had numerous dead ball situations. They've wasted all of them. Will this one count for Lao Toyota? This one's flung in. Offside flag hasn't gone up. And it was such an important touch by Viet Phu because there were two players in red behind him. Xuan Nam trying to go pace for pace, stride for stride with Sok Savan, who played it off him for a throw to Lao Toyota. 4 minutes left to get something out of this game. Can't do it with a touch like this from Pia Phong. Very disappointing. Just when they had their tails up, momentum on their side, forcing a couple of free kicks, and then a touch like that, and you're back defending again. This was it, Simon.
Wow.
Kong Fuong kept it in play.
That's an outstanding bit of individual skill. To try that on live TV when you're 1-0 down in the AFC Cup, I mean, that could go horribly wrong.
Once again, happy to play it short, take as much time as possible. Here is Kong Fuong. Weren't happy with that very late challenge on him, Kong Fuong. Yet again, doors were open for the shots, but he declined the invitation. Just kept it in. Oh, how sublime was that from Kong Fuong.
Party tricks coming out now.
Yeah, he
went after the next guy as well.
The header was on. Bamba kept it out, repelled it. That wasn't the best of efforts from Huang Tin. Somehow it's a great pass. Bamba managing to just head it away, but it's not very far. Kwong Hien looking for the angle for the cross. Kwong Tam, Kong Fuong. Bun Vitak has come right at him, and he might have to watch his legs here because of that little nutmeg that he gave earlier on.
There's a tackle coming. Got to be careful.
Well, that was it's a chance for a breakaway here from Ursio. That's very good defending, preventing the shots from coming in. Kong Fuong is not going to get involved with this because he came from an offside position. I'd love to see if that little party trick again, that's a nutmeg that he threw on Bun Vitak. Poor Bun Vitak. He's got relatives watching, you know. To have that right in his face then.
He's got to have that replayed on Twitter 3 or 4 times and still have the motivation to get up in the morning.
There's a late break away from Kong Fien. He's not going to get at the end of it. And a final change from Ho Chi Minh now. When Hu Tan, who was the only Ho Chi Minh player who was in the V-League Best 11 last year. A defender who is extraordinary in terms of man marking. He's capped a couple of times in World Cup qualifiers last year as well, Hu Tan. And he comes on for Huang Tin, which means the captaincy takes its 3rd trip for Ho Chi Minh City tonight. And this time it goes to Antoine. So it's the turn of the Vietnamese side to almost play with 3 at the back.
It's one thing I do remember about my time in Indonesia was that, in Vietnam, was their ability just to keep the ball.
Xuan Nam, oh, that's brilliant. That is
what a goal.
Absolutely brilliant. Well, when you're on form, you just feel that everything you touch is going to bulge the net, and that is exactly how Xuan Nam is feeling at the moment. That little touch to sell Kawakami to the ground, and then the next to place it into the back of the net. Call your friends up to watch this, Xuan Nam. You get the accolades. This was brilliant.
Yeah, really good goal there, and really well worked. I mean, way before the actual footage cut in here, the passing was excellent, moving the ball around nice and comfortably, and then back to goal, little swivel, sells the dummy, and then a nice comfortable finish in the far corner. Makes it look very easy. Yeah, really good goal, that one. Kills the game off.
Game over. It's now 4 goals in his last 1.5 matches. He might just get the nod over Balde to start over the weekend.
Well, if he finishes like that, he's got a strike rate like that. It's 2 chances, 2 goals. Be difficult. Yep, Balde does a job, but this man certainly knows where the back of the net is.
Lao Toyota, well, might be a little too late, but they are certainly interested in throwing players forward now.
Was just saying there before the goal that my time in Vietnam, I remember very well just how good Vietnamese were at just killing the game off, slowing things down, frustrating the opposition. 1-0, just game finished, 65 minutes. They just kill it off. Very, very good at that. And you'd always end up with a red card or a yellow card because you get so frustrated you can't get on the ball. Yep, very, very good at just short, keeping the ball, give it, move it.
Which is exactly what Ho Chi Minh City is doing now.
Game over, just keep the ball until the final whistle.
That's Hu Tan trying to dip it into space for the run of Tung Quoc, who's gotten away from Pamba.
Những diễn biến trên sân thật là hấp dẫn phải không nào? Và nếu như các bạn vẫn đang phân vân đặt cược tại FB88.TV sẽ được gì thì đừng vội lo lắng, bởi hiện tại FB88.TV đang có chương trình khuyến mãi lên tới 2 triệu đồng tiền nạp cho thành viên mới. Hợp pháp và an toàn. Hãy truy cập ngay FB88.TV để nhận được những ưu đãi tuyệt vời.
Yeah, they've got the hard work done first, and you feel a little bit for these Lao players. They've worked incredibly hard. I mean, you know, let's be realistic here. They're playing against a better technical opposition. They've done really well for a good 65, 75 minutes of the game. You know, you've got to give them credit, and it's harsh that they come away from this 2-0, but the better teams won today. I think just showed a little bit more intent, wanted to go forward, a little bit more technical. And coming off the bench and putting 2 finishes away like that deserves to win the game.
They, of course, are on the back now of 2 wins in a row in this competition, having won last time out against Tampines, who I can tell you are leading 2-0 against Shan United. Actually, last time they beat Hougang, didn't they? Ho Chi Minh City. There's another loss for Hougang earlier today, so Ho Chi Minh City in the driver's seat in Group F. High and mighty over their opponents. Well, that's a cheeky little shot by Antoine. Tried to catch the goalkeeper, who was gambled on a cross at his near post. And that's the final piece of action in a game where Lao Toyota did well enough, hanging on at 0-0 against the second best team in the V-League last year, and they did well enough to contain their top scorer Amido Balde. What they didn't account for was a substitute who is one of an In one of the hottest scoring forms of his life, Xuan Nam came on, got the 2 goals and the 3 points for Ho Chi Minh City in this game.
Sportimology, and we're talking about love. What's love got to do with tennis? Love actually is derived from the French word l'œuf, which means egg. Eggs look like 0. L'œuf sounds like love, and voila! A tennis term was born. It's an altogether different kind of love story. This is Sportimology, and we'd love to see you again.
This March, we'll lift your spirits on Fox Life. A widower becomes a hot commodity, known to single ladies as the unicorn. Mike and Rio are settling into Bucksnort, but are they truly over their agriculture shop? Yes. Bless this mess. All eyes are on these spectacular vocal battles. Catch new coach Nick Jonas. Welcome to the show. On The Voice. This March, we'll lift your spirits on Fox Life.
As race day dawns, it's calm down in Barrera, but up high the clouds are threats in the sky.
My sensations are good, but really I can only tell when I start running, so hopefully we'll have a good feeling when I start running and I'll be able to do a good course.
Expectation and uncertainty are in the air. Right now I'm very nervous, just a few minutes before the start, but I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully the weather won't be too bad and we'll suffer but enjoy it.
Excitement, I guess. I'm really looking forward to just getting up there. The weather's looking nice at the moment, but we're expecting rain, so I like a bit of rain, so just see how it goes.
I'm really happy. My body feels okay, so yeah, I'm ready to and excited to go.
Hit it! That's what I'm talking about.
Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.
The race starts with a fast pace while the runners pass through the traditional streets of Barrera, which has a gala atmosphere today. The show's guaranteed. There's lots of expectation in the streets. No one wants to miss out on this moment. At this point of the race, the wheat has already been separated from the chaff. Japan's Rei Aida and Sweden's Johan Astrom have a small lead, but there's still a long way to go. At kilometre 16, Rei Aida is still strong and leading the race. Oriol Cardona is behind him and seems to be controlling the rhythm with Zayed in his wake. In the women's race, Astrom is still very strong in front while Alvila suffers so as not to lose too much time. It seems that the two remaining uphills will be foggy, an additional difficulty to the technical route. But the more experienced runners and those accustomed to this weather may benefit from the adverse conditions. Already reaching the final part, Rei Aida is still the leader. But the gaps are getting smaller. Cardona seems to have the situation under control just before the climb at Lake Galada.
From the beginning.
Astrom keeps the lead, but she's less than a minute ahead of the Spanish runner. The gaps are minimal. Oriol has almost caught Aida. He manages to improve his pace and overtakes him. At the top of La Galera, everything is very tight. The last and longest descent will be very decisive. Technique and speed specialists such as Jonathan Albon or Sheila Aviles take advantage of their strength. The runners are already at the bottom and entering Barrera again. Oriol Cardona, cheered by the crowd, makes it to the finish line with a lot of emotion. He's managed to win his first Skyrunning World Cup at home and in front of his people. I tried to do a smart race and not burn all my energy at the beginning. I tried to get a constant rhythm and maintain it for 40 kilometers, because if you start too fast, you'll pay for it at the end, which is what happened to Ray. Albon has picked up and arrives in second.
It's always tough for me to, at the start, the first climb felt awful, second climb didn't feel much better, but it seems like they didn't get any worse. I tried to push in the last sort of 500 metres of the uphill, and then I could feel a stitch coming on the whole time. Turned around at the uphill and thought, oh, so then running downhill really wasn't happening very quick, and Oriol was really fast downhill anyway, so I gave